everyone, I'm Molly with the Coastal Watershed Council, and welcome to our activity guide for Get to Know Your Local Plants. For this activity, you will look closely at local plants, draw the local plants, go on a virtual tour of plants at the San Lorenzo River, and take action to help protect our local plants. You will need the following materials: the activity PDF, paper, colored pencils or crayons, and a pencil. If you're looking for the activity PDF, this is what it looks like. All right, let's get started with step 1. Find a plant in your yard or neighborhood. Let's follow Sam as he finds a plant in his neighborhood.
Hey everyone, it's me Sam again with the Coastal Watershed Council, and I'm working on an activity called Getting to Know Your Local Plants. So I'm here walking around the apartment complex and I see this really cool plant.
So Sam's on to step 2, where you're going to draw your plants. Make sure that you are looking out for leaves, stems, roots, flowers, any bark, or if there's insects on or by the plant.
I'm noticing that there are a lot of these all together. So I'm gonna start by drawing lots of the stems, is what we're calling, where the flower is attaching to the rest of the plant. I'm gonna draw lots of stems first because that's kind of the thing I see the most. I'm seeing lots of teeny tiny flowers. I'm gonna save that drawing for the end because that's gonna take a little bit more time. On each of these flowers, I see it's connected to lots of leaves that have an interesting shape. These leaves aren't round or a triangle, they're kind of a mix of both. So I might start by kind of trying to make some rounded triangle leaves all over my paper. So I've got lots and lots of leaves on. I'm not gonna worry about drawing every single leaf because there are probably hundreds of leaves just on this tiny little plant alone, but it's helping me to capture the size of the stem, the leaves. If I wanted to measure this, I could measure with a ruler or a tape measure. I'm gonna guess that maybe this is about 6 inches tall. So I'll write 6 inches right here, just so I can remember when I come back to see if it's grown anymore. I'm gonna start adding some flowers. It has a long round top with lots of little tiny petals. But not every single one of these has blooming flowers. Some of them just have buds.
Thanks, Sam. Here's Sam's finished drawing. And now it's your turn. So, if you want to go outside, pause the video and go draw your plant and come back once you're done. Or, if you'd like to stay inside, take a look at the same plant that Sam was drawing. You can draw it as well. Still drawing and you need more time? Go ahead and pause the video. Otherwise, we're going to move on to step 3, where you're going to observe your plant and then record what you notice.
There are some questions. The colors on my plant are blank and blank. I'm definitely seeing some kind of pink color and definitely green, so maybe I would write those ones down. Does my plant have leaves? Yes. Does it have bark? I don't see bark. That's mostly for trees. Stems? Oh, lots of stems. Do I see any insects on the plant? I see a tiny spider web, actually, so that makes me think that there are bugs using this as habitat. I don't see its roots, but I can guarantee you since this plant is looking really healthy, it probably has really healthy roots. And flowers? Absolutely. The feeling of the leaf, the stem is nice and round. It's bendy, so it's not super hard. The leaves are soft and actually a little tiny bit sticky, so that's really interesting. So when I touch my plant, it feels cool, it feels smooth, a little sticky, and also bends quite a bit.
Thanks, Sam. Here's an example of Sam's completed activity. Now it's your turn. Make sure that you complete your observations and record what you notice about your plant. Go ahead and pause the video and write down what you notice about your plant, and then come back when you're done. Welcome back. All right, so let's take a mind break. Stand up and stretch or shake it out. Here we go. All right, here we are at step 4. We are going to compare a young yarrow plant and an older yarrow plant. So let's take a look at these pictures of a young yarrow plant and an older yarrow plant to notice what they have that is different and what is the same. To help you out, take a look at the activity PDF and find this page. You're looking for 2 pictures, one of the young yarrow and one of the older yarrow, and write down what you notice about both the young and the older plant, and then think about what both of these plants have in common. So go ahead and pause the video and write down what you notice about the younger yarrow and the older yarrow plants. All right, welcome back. So let's share. Share with someone around you, or maybe there's a classmate you'd like to share with. What did you notice that is similar or different about the yarrow plants? Awesome. So I'll share as well. I noticed that the young yarrow plant has little green leaves. It is small and it looks fragile, like I had to be careful if I touch it. The leaves look like feathers. And then I noticed for the older yarrow plant that it has little white flowers and that they're bunched together, has a long stem, and has a lot more leaves than the younger plant. And I noticed that the young yarrow and the older yarrow both have green leaves that look soft, and they both grow in bunches, and of course they grow in soil. Yarrow lives along the banks of the San Lorenzo River. Have you ever been in downtown Santa Cruz, right next to the Warrior Stadium, or been to the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk? If you see river, that's the San Lorenzo River. So we're going to take a virtual tour of the San Lorenzo River and get to know some native plants, like yarrow, that call the San Lorenzo River home. Let's first talk to an expert. Here's Whitney. She's the Coastal Watershed Council River Scientist.
Here we are at the Coastal Watershed Council's Habitat Restoration Site. We've been working here to add new native plants to the riverbank to make it as healthy as it can be. We have over 20 different kinds of plants living in this site. Here you can see a beautiful lupin starting to bloom with these purple flowers. Down here we have some coyote brush that'll spread out nice and wide along the riverbank, helping to prevent erosion. We work with volunteers and kids just like you to help make this riverbank as healthy as it can be.
Thanks, Whitney. Now let's take a look around. Take a look at this picture that's following. What do you see? So if you look closely, you probably saw all these blue flags that were next to all these native plants that our volunteers had planted. Now, Whitney talked about how native plants are really important to protecting the river. That's because plants and trees along the banks of the river create habitat and help filter out pollution before it goes into the San Lorenzo River. So now let's learn. Let's get to know some native plants that call the San Lorenzo River home. Let's get to know the arroyo willows first. Willows are tall shrubs that grow along the river. You've probably seen them if you've walked along the San Lorenzo River. Their branches grow over the river, providing shade to keep the water cool. And the insects that live in the branches or on the branches can fall into the river, and that's food for the fish that live in the river. Next is gumweed. Now the gumweed, does it look like a sunflower? It should, because it's very similar to a sunflower. It's in the same family. The yellow flowers, those bright flowers, attract butterflies and other pollinators. Just like gumweed, the bright pink flowers of a wild rose also attracts pollinators like butterflies and birds and bees. Now, pollinators, they pick up the pollen that's inside the plant and they fly to another plant, leaving that pollen there. That process helps start the growth or the beginning of a new plant. Now, here's black sage. What's great about black sage is that their roots are so strong and deep, is that they help to keep the soil in one place. So when there's a big rainstorm, those roots hold the soil and stops the soil from going into the San Lorenzo River. Thanks, black sage. And here's our final native plant for today, the common yarrow. Now you might notice that there's a lot of little white flowers. That is how we can tell that it's yarrow. Also, if you have a chance to smell it, it smells strong and spicy. And then go ahead and touch it. The leaves feel feathery. So today, we got to learn a little bit more about the arroyo willow, gumweed, wild rose, black sage, and the common yarrow. So we just learned about some native plants that call the San Lorenzo River home. And now it's time for us to protect our native plants and local plants. You're going to have 3 different choices of activities that you can do to help protect our local plants. So your first choice is to water local plants or plant your own plant. Now make sure you have permission to do this before you do that. Second choice is share your plant drawing that you did earlier with others and then tell them what you learned about the native plants. And then your third choice is to learn more about plants. Watch the YouTube video Plant Parents and Offspring by Teaching Independent Learners. You can find a link to that document at the Coastal Watershed Council website or an activity PDF. Alright, so it was so much fun to explore with you today. You can find other activities at the Coastal Watershed Council website, coastal-watershed.org. And if you have any questions, you can email me at mbain@coastal-watershed.org.